Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, we're drinking bourbon. All right, Ben. I don't have any idea what this is. I've never heard of it before.
Well, it's a new brand for us. This is BAM Conviction Straight Bourbon Whiskey. So a new bottle for us. Now this is from Southern Grace Distilleries. It is a pick from Storytime Distillery.
Okay.
In conjunction with Those Bourbon Guys. Go like,
Dudes.
comment, and subscribe to Those Bourbon Guys. They've got a fantastic channel.
They do.
So we've talked about Storytime before. It's an online subscription-based, non-producing distillery where you have access to purchase these bottles and a lot of other stuff too. So Go check that out, storytimedistillery.com. But this is a new distillery that we've never had anything from before.
I don't think I've ever heard of them.
So really don't know anything about it. It's 101.4 proof, barrel number 557, and it says Bushwood Invitational 2023 pick. I don't know what that means, but it's got Those Bourbon Guys on it right there. So
Nice.
that makes it cool.
That makes it cool.
All right, let's get into the nose and see what this is all about. Interesting nose. It's a little different.
Do we know, like, even where it's distilled? Like, what state? What planet is it distilled on?
What planet?
Any of that stuff?
Bourbon has to legally be made on planet Earth. We know that much.
It doesn't say. It doesn't even say what planet it was distilled on.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're just going to have to wonder.
Yeah. So brown sugar on the nose for sure.
And a
little caramely.
Something else. A spice, like a rye spice. Don't know any of the details about mash bill.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Sour mash, single barrel.
Yep. North Carolina, it says it right there.
Oh, okay.
After all that effort you put in.
Well, I wasn't looking
right
there.
North Carolina is where this was made.
North Carolina.
So yeah, it's got at first it had a little bit of a crafty note on the nose, but it's really,
I'm really getting this, like, I don't say this in a bad way, and we've used this word kind of as a poor descriptor, but like individual grains of rye. Like,
yeah, it is a little bit grainy, which there's been the last handful of them that we had like that have actually really worked.
Yeah.
Which I like that sometimes. Sometimes the grainy note can go off the rails and it's just too youthful. Doesn't look terribly youthful. It's got a nice color to it. But let's go in and
it
see
does
what
have
this is
some
all about.
sweetness that kind of holds it together. So I have high hopes at this point.
Well, let's find out. Cheers. Oh, I like that a lot.
Wow, cherry. I wasn't expecting that. Great density. Like, way above average for 100 proof, 100.4.
Yeah, 101.4.
101.4.
Interesting finish. Like I have a weird, not weird in a bad way, but just a different
It's almost like
kind of
cornbread.
flavor note taste.
Cornbread.
I'm getting something a little more tannic. Some barrel spice.
It's got a nice char, but it's not like heavy char. Like, it's more like toasted, I feel.
I'm with you on that. It's got kind of a toasted barrel, like a secondary toasted barrel or something.
Yeah, or at least a light char.
Little marshmallowy in that regard.
Yeah. Yeah, the sweetness is kind of coming through. Not overly sweet, and it's not going to turn you away if you're not a sweet bourbon fan.
But I think it has a good balance. It's got the nice sweetness, but there is kind of there's an edge to this, you know? And I don't mean that in a bad way. There's a nice sharpness to it where it gives it a little extra kick.
But it's like a hint. Like, it's got a nice spice, but it's a hint of the spice. It's not a kick in the face or sledgehammer to the face.
The more I'm getting into this, the more I'm getting like some marshmallow and graham cracker action.
Spicy marshmallow, which is probably a thing, but
Could be.
I have no idea. This is nice. You know what? It's approachable.
Uncut, unfiltered.
If this were somebody who is not experienced with high proof stuff, it comes across as nice. And I don't mean it's smooth and like, but there's nothing aggressive. It has some nice, interesting complexity if you're a bourbon nerd. But it also is easy to approach.
I feel like I'm having two experiences at the same time. Exactly what you're talking about, where this is approachable, and if you're just getting up to that 101 proof point, it's nice. But at the same time, it does have a nice sharp bite to it that I really like, where it kind of drinks a little bit above its proof point at the same time. It's really weird. It's kind of like, it's a mixture of both. Like
They should have called it Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a good name for this, because it really, I mean, I feel like this could work for a lot of different
I'm starting to like it more and more. And I think I'm getting maybe more of the spice and the interesting character now that I've had several sips. I like this a lot.
It says, distilled, aged, and bottled at Southern Grace Distilleries, Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. So, they're doing their own thing.
That's awesome.
For a distillery that's doing their own distillate and they're not sourcing, that's impressive.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Those bourbon guys in Storytime were onto something with this pick.
I think
like
so.
it.
Yep.
Now, it is different. This isn't, I wouldn't consider this to be just a standard down the middle bourbon. It has some crafty notes to it. If you're used to drinking craft bourbons, you'll probably know what that means. But I think they really work in this, and sometimes they don't. But this one, yeah, I mean, the grain profile of it works really well. The proof works really well in the sense that I can't seem to pin it down as to whether it's
high
drinking.
Or low proof.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of getting both.
Yeah, it's just.
But the one thing that I think is consistent is the real nice density and mouthfeel, or however you want to refer to it. Like, it really drinks as a quality whiskey, even though it's not super high proof.
Yeah.
And probably not super high aged. Like, I'm guessing it's not crazy long.
And there's definitely some flavor notes in here that I'm having a hard time putting my finger on. Maybe it's a little bit of that barrel char coming through, kind of a burnt flavor a little bit.
It's maybe like a little black peppery.
Yeah.
It's kind of changed over the sips.
Yeah, for sure. This one's really, like, this falls into that category, and we've had these before, where this is a good one to just pour and just sit with for a while.
That's right.
And really kind of, I'm not trying to sound too cheesy here, but really just sit and experience the whiskey. Take your time with it, really kind of pick it apart.
Let it speak to you, Ben.
Yeah, what is the whiskey telling you? You know? But yeah, without trying to get too in the weeds on that, this is one of those good ones that I feel like, even just like you said, throughout the course of just filming this review, it's kind of showcasing a lot of different things.
It's not a one-hit wonder, kind of like, one note, even if it's a good note. This one changes a lot. This is the barrel, if you happen to go to whiskey tasting events and people are going to have a hard time figuring out what it is.
Yeah.
I think they would have a hard time picking the proof point because it bounces around.
Yeah, it really is. You just can't not pin this one down.
Yeah. It's
and
awesome.
It says uncut and unfiltered. So uncut, that would lead me to believe that it's 101.4 at cask strength.
It says cask strength on the front, doesn't it?
I don't know.
I thought it said.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
101, so they must have maybe a
very low
barrel entry proof, and that's going to help with those flavors too. So. Yeah. Super interesting. I know right now, as of the time of recording this video, which is, August 19th, 2023, Storytime did have a special where they were selling this and the Port Night, which is another great bottle, for I think $100, and free shipping.
Yep.
Which, when you're shipping 2 bottles of whiskey, is a big chunk of money. And again, we don't have a stake in that.
Nope, not at all.
Just saying, if you want to get a hold of one of these, you have to go through Storytime to get it, and that's a good deal they have going on right now. I would actually do the double bottle deal with no shipping versus 1 bottle with shipping.
Yeah, fair enough. And they're very small quantities.
Yep.
So, don't wait if you're interested.
So get in there and get some of this for sure. All right, well, this has been Conviction Straight Bourbon Whiskey from Southern Grace Distilleries. On the Bourbon Note, I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Till next time. See you next time.